Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for BC's Trades Training System Year Update. My name is Gary Herman, and I'll be your host for the webinar today. We'll start with an overview of who the Industry Training Authority is and what we do, and then we'll share with you what we have planned for the upcoming year. Just to let you know that everybody on the line is muted. We will have time at the end of the webinar for questions, and you can type your questions into the chat box on the GoToMeeting platform, which you can see on your screen. We'll try to answer some of them live, and then we'll respond to the rest by email. We're also recording this webinar, and we will be sharing the link to it after the presentation. So everybody who's registered will get a copy of the recording through a link. And a copy of the presentation can be found in the Handouts tab of GoToMeeting. Okay, let's get started. So, what does Industry Training Authority do? We work with employers, apprentices, industry, labor, training providers, school districts, and government to support apprentices and employer sponsors through continuation and completion, provide funding for apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs, including the youth trades training programs, to ensure the province's need for skilled workers are met. We also issue the credentials at the end of your program. We facilitate the development of program standards for industry in conjunction with our counterpart jurisdictions across Canada, and we promote careers in the trades. We're just checking. We had one of our listeners say that they were not able to hear the presentation. If anybody out there could just type in, "Can you hear me?" Okay, perfect. Fantastic, thank you. Okay, so carrying on, ITA's vision and mission. Our vision is to create a world-class training and apprenticeship system for British Columbians. And our mission is to build the trades that build BC. Very simple, very focused. To do that, we incorporate 4 values: respect, excellence, innovation, and collaboration are the values that we incorporate, and all ITA team members keep them top of mind when working with all of our customers and stakeholders, as well as working with each other internally. We've been fortunate to be selected as one of BC's top employers and for the past 2 years, and certified as a Great Place to Work Canada for the past 3 years, and that's all because of the great people that make up the ITA team to better serve your needs. We certify over 100 trades in BC, of which 49 are Red Seal. The full list is available on our website. And for this fiscal year, 2018-19, nearly $73 million will be distributed to training providers in BC, which is made up of 15 public post-secondaries and 25 non-public and union training providers. So, what does the trades landscape look like right now in British Columbia? Information from our ministry, Advanced Education, Skills and Training, produces a labor market outlook on, and which includes the trades in BC. So we expect 917,000 job openings throughout British Columbia by 2027. Interestingly, 7 of 10 of these jobs will be the result of retiring workers, while the remaining 3 will be new jobs created by economic growth. And of that 917,000, trades jobs will make up over 100,000, or 11% of the totals, over the next 10 years. Many employers that we've met in the field are already feeling the pressures of the impending retirements. This is one of the reasons why apprenticeship is key in growing the businesses that make up the economy of our province. Successful apprenticeships ensure that there will be trained, skilled tradespeople to fill the boots of the retiring workforce in the future. So Here's a brief look at the ITA trades that are in demand, and I won't go through the list because you can see it there. These trades are forecasted to have great employment potential in the years ahead in BC. Now, industry needs will differ by region, we know that, but there's no doubt that right now is a very good time to get into any of these trades as the demand will be high. Currently, there are more than 45,000 registered participants in trades training in BC, which is made up of nearly 35,000 adult participants in apprenticeship, almost 6,300 youth participants in the schools around the province, and 4,700 foundation students taking pre-apprenticeship around the system. These participants are at varying levels of their trades training. In addition, we issued 7,756 certificates of qualification in 2016 and 17. Employer sponsors and apprenticeship. This is the key. As of March 31st, 2017, BC had 10,000 plus employer sponsors, and we still need more. Apprenticeship is a proven method of developing future workers, managers, and mentors. Apprenticeship is also a valuable HR strategy that employers can use for business growth. Some of you have heard me mention this before, that of every 5 employers in British Columbia, and in fact across Canada, that employ skilled tradespeople, only one of those 5 also employs apprentices. And long term, that is not sustainable. The rest of them poach from other employers. So going forward, we need more employer sponsors to step up and do their part in hiring apprentices. And for all of those employers out there who already have apprenticeship programs, we thank you for being champions of apprenticeship. Because the employers that are already hiring apprentices know that if you put the time and effort into apprentices and apprenticeship, the return on that investment is invaluable. You find very high loyalty, very high reliability, and you get to train the apprentices to the exact needs of your business. ITA has many supports and resources in place for apprentices and employers to help them succeed along the apprenticeship journey. We have a comprehensive customer support model that's made up of our Richmond Customer Service Center, regional Apprenticeship Advisors, and an Apprenticeship Completions team. Our customer service team is accessible by phone, email, Facebook chat, and in person. We have 15 Apprenticeship Advisors around the province, as indicated on the map, and point of contact for apprentices. They're the point of contact, our boots on the ground, if you will, for apprentices and employer sponsors in the regions. And they support continuation and completion of apprenticeships. And if you want to get in touch with our Apprenticeship Advisors, the link is right there on the screen, and you can find the advisor that is responsible for your region. All of our advisors, in addition, have worked with Indigenous communities and provide support across all trades apprenticeships. We're enhancing customer support with technology. We're currently in year 3 of a 5-year program of our new digital system implementation called Navigator to improve customer support and evidence-based decision-making. The ultimate goal is to provide tailored advice to apprentices on an apprentice-by-apprentice basis. The supply and demand of apprentices, that visibility to link trades, training, and funding priorities to labor market information is also a key asset of the system. On the industry engagement side, we have 4 industry relations team members that are internal liaisons for youth programs, program standards, training investment, and Indigenous initiatives. They also facilitate sector advisory group meetings. There are 11 sector advisory groups that provide input to ITA and government around training strategies and insight into industry needs and trends. We're looking at the membership of the sector advisory groups now to better reflect the makeup of the apprenticeship system in BC, including employers, apprentices, training providers, etc. In the area of harmonization, we're currently in year 3 of our harmonization efforts. And for those of you not familiar with harmonization, it is a Canada-wide collaboration with the Canadian Council of Directors of Apprenticeship at the direction of the Forum of Labour Market Ministers to make training requirements more consistent in the Red Seal trades. And what that really consists of is common use of the Red Seal name, which oddly enough is not the same across Canada, harmonizing on the total training hours, which is the combination of the in-school, which is about 20% of apprenticeship, and the on-the-job, which is the other 80%. So making the total training hours the same throughout the jurisdictions, making the number of training levels the same, and the difficult part, sequencing of the training content. So this will improve mobility of Red Seal apprentices and tradespeople. And if you think prior to this, with the programs not sequenced correctly, if a level 1 carpentry student took level 1, let's say at BCIT, they were able to get a job in Fort Mac, had to do level 2 at NAIT. If those programs did not align, the course curriculums, in the past, the second NAIT in this example could have forced the apprentice to start over. So that's no longer the case, as we have an agreement of apprentice protocol, mobility protocol agreement in place for the past year. But harmonization is a long-term fix to fix that sequencing and allow apprentices to travel seamlessly across between the provinces and territories and pick up their apprenticeships where they left off. So this will greatly improve the mobility of Red Seal apprentices and tradespeople. We're committed to harmonization, and we're making great progress. And hats off to any training providers who may be on the line for all of the hard efforts that they've been putting in keeping us on track. Harmonization is so important to Canada that a 6th phase was added last year, adding 6 more trades for a total of 36 Red Seal trades for harmonization. When it's completed, by 2021, it will cover 95% of Red Seal apprentices across Canada. It's a very, very large and a very important task for Canada. Next is our youth trades and training program. So the youth trades training programs are going very strong. We've revamped these over the last couple of years, expanded and rebranded our youth programs, received a budget lift from government, and more youth now are being introduced to trades at an earlier age, now actually as early as grade 5, which is a great thing. We had a target of 5,000 students to be enrolled in trades programs, and we've exceeded that already, and are looking forward to working more closely with students, educators, school districts, and the Ministry of Education this year and the years to come. Students are our future, especially as we get into a reduced labor force going forward. We're also working with the First Nations Education Steering Committee, FNESC, to introduce more Indigenous youth to trades and trades training. You may not know, but the Indigenous population in Canada, in BC, 50% is under the age of 25, so it is the largest growing youth segment population in the province. In the area of support for Indigenous peoples and equity-seeking groups, we oversee 3 programs, one for Indigenous peoples in trades training, one for women in trades training, and one for immigrants in trades training. And happy to report that over 10,000 participants have received training and support since 2008-2009. We have these programs to ensure that all British Columbians, have equal access to access trades, training, and trades careers. Now, innovation is so important to making trades training more accessible. We believe that collaborative partnerships are the key in making innovative training delivery successful. One of the partnerships that has been and continues to be tremendously successful is Bella Coola Newhawk First Nations Camosun College Partnership. They work together, and together with ITA, to bring carpentry training right into the remote community in Bella Coola. Currently, the first and second cohort of carpentry classes, 2 classes, have completed both Level 1 and Level 2 carpentry training in their community, and they're planning Level 3 training for 2018-19. The success has led to similar projects in Bella Bella, where first cohort has completed Level 1, and Mount Currie, where they're planning right now for Level 2. I can tell you I visited Bella Coola in December and was blown away by the success that has been made there. It's a multi-year plan with New Hawk Nation to construct up to 50 new houses, build a new community center, and renovate 120 units in the community. And we're the community is utilizing the residents of the community to teach them carpentry apprenticeships and a couple of other apprenticeships to literally build and rebuild their village with a long-term vision of attracting ecotourism and the like to their community. From an ITA perspective, when we're doing something like this in the community, in an Indigenous community, it doesn't get better than that. We've taken the training to the community, and they're using it to build the skills and rebuild the community at the same time. Another example of innovative partnerships for training delivery is the Prince George Nechako Aboriginal Employment and Training Association, PIGNATA, and College of New Caledonia initiative. And it involves both Notley and Stellatan communities, which are very remote, so on their own, they'd not be able to put together a class big enough to run a full cohort or program. So collaboration like this, in bringing the two communities together, makes trades training more accessible to those that would otherwise not have the chance. These programs also create economic opportunities for students. The two cousins you see sitting on the bench in the bottom photo have joined with another family member who is a carpenter to open up a carpentry contracting business. And that bench that they're actually sitting on is a very innovative project, as when they get off of it, they flip it over, it becomes a table. So again, a great example of using innovation and the success that you can have when you take the training to the community. Mobile trades training units are also a way of taking that trades training into remote regions of the province. There are currently 5 mobile training units in BC. Nicola Valley Institute of Technology, NVIT, has a provincial mandate to provide trades training to Indigenous communities around the province. And NVIT has 2 53-foot custom-built long box trailers that provide 1,100 square feet of training space and enough room for 12 teaching stations. These trailers are used to provide introductory bridging to trades training for electrical, plumbing, pipe fitting, machinist, millwright, and welding programs. And they're offered exclusively to Indigenous communities throughout the province. So that's it for the ITA overview, and now I'll share with you our new mandate, priorities, and goals for the upcoming year. So every year, all Crown agencies receive mandate letters from the provincial government. This forms our direction and creates the basis for our service plan, which lays out our goals, strategies, and performance measures. The service plans are made public on our annual budget day in February, and along with our mandate letter, both are available on our website. So our priorities for this fiscal year, which again began April 1st, are to create a more seamless apprenticeship pathway to support apprentice success, to encourage more employers to hire and train apprentices and provide invaluable apprenticeship experiences, to work closely with training providers to ensure the best possible training experience for apprentices, and to support innovation in trades training delivery to support apprentices and reduce any time that they may have away from work. As you can see, our priorities are centered on people and around creating a holistic environment to support their success. They also align with the 3 priorities of the BC government, which are 1, to make life more affordable, 2, to improve services people count on, and 3, to create a sustainable economy. So goal number 1 is to make apprentices more successful. At ITA, we'll do this by increasing work experience opportunities for youth through our youth programs, by continuing to work with our Apprenticeship Completions team to help apprentices cross the finish line, which, since the launch of our completion team 3 years ago, we have helped 4,500 individuals achieve their certification. And these are folks who may have given up, were struggling to get across the finish line, etc. The completions team is also involved in exam accommodations to support individuals with learning disabilities or language barriers. This has been a tremendous success over the past 3 years to help people ensure that they get certified. In supporting and sharing information about government initiatives to improve safety and health to address the drug epidemic is another key facet of goal number 1. All this will ensure that both apprentices and employers are gaining positive experience throughout their apprenticeship journey. We want the people to get the most out of trades training in British Columbia. Our second goal is to enable more employers to provide an excellent apprenticeship experience. We'll encourage more diversity and inclusivity in the workforce and proactively reach out to more employer sponsors, more potential employer sponsors. Employer sponsors, as I mentioned before, are so important to apprenticeship. Apprenticeship is 20% classroom and 80% hands-on experience in the workplace. Without employer sponsors, apprenticeships cannot be completed. All in all, this goal is about supporting the employer sponsors so they can in turn provide the best apprenticeship experience for their apprentices and in turn get the best journey people that are possible. For goal 3, we'll collaborate with training providers to ensure the best training experience for apprentices. And to achieve this goal, we will continue with the harmonization of Red Seal trades that I previously covered. We're committed to harmonizing 36 trades by 2021, which again will cover 95% of Red Seal apprentices across Canada. We will also be looking at a funding framework to ensure that apprentices are benefiting from trades training funds. And lastly, our fourth goal is to deliver innovation for effective apprenticeships. We'll be working with partners and training providers to make training more accessible through innovation in how we deliver training and leverage technology to do so. Look at innovative ways, together with our Indigenous Initiatives Director, Michael Cameron, to engage more with Indigenous peoples and bring training to their communities, and to encourage and promote a cultural shift to help all equity-seeking groups participate in trades training. This is continuing from the partnerships and collaborations that I mentioned in our overview. We'll continue to bring the right people together and have meaningful conversations to find more innovative ways to make trades training accessible across the province. So that's it for our service plan. We're very excited for the new year and look forward to working hand in hand with all of our stakeholders in the trades training system. Now it's time for Q&A. If you have any questions or feedback, please type them into the comments box in your GoToMeeting panel. And again, we'll take a few questions here, and then we'll answer the remainder by email. So we have one question about what information is provided to apprentices to inform them about the many facets in their respective trade that they can expand into. And the best place to find that information, Mike, is to go onto the website, the itabc.ca website, and look up the specific trade. And there's a program profile and program outline there that specifically detail the types of tasks that are being covered in each of the trades. The next question is, I'm interested in the apprentice completion teams. I think a number of our apprentices would benefit from being connected to this service. How can we connect with them? Heather, this is the best way to connect is you can check on our website again. The manager of Apprentice Completion at ITA is Michelle McKinnon, and you can reach her at mckinnon@itabc.ca, and she can walk you through the supports that are available to make sure that your apprentices are being successful. Another question, who do we contact to see what programs are available for economic support for apprentices and employers? Darren, that's a very common question. There is information on our website as to the tax benefits and supports that are available both to the employers and to the apprentices at each level of their apprenticeship. And if you have any questions, you can feel free also to contact our customer service team, and they can also direct you to that and highlight more of the financial benefits for you. Another question from Wade, how is the ITA keeping the curriculums updated and relevant to industries? The harmonization program, as I mentioned, covers 36 of the top trades by volume across Canada. And again, that's going to cover trades that are going to end up covering 95% of apprentices across Canada in the Red Seal trades. Any of the other programs are typically updated on a 3 to 5 year basis, and as you can imagine, our team in program standards is extremely busy with the harmonization efforts. We have been for the past 3 years and are expecting for the next 3 to 4 years to be extremely busy. But we have brought, at the request of industry, we have updated a couple of additional trades that were due for update that are not part of harmonization. So if you have a specific request, I would suggest that you get in touch with Colleen Rogan, of our manager of program standards, and make your request directly to her. And she would be crogan@itabc.ca. Joanne is asking, how can we recruit support a talented high school student who might be interested in becoming certified when he or she graduates from high school? This is a great question. And our youth programs, so we have some sampler programs where students can discover trades, where the first one would be, experiencing 3 to 4 trades over a 3-week period. Following that, there is a similar version over a 3-month period, so they get to go a little bit more in depth. And then we have 2 dual credit programs. The first one is youth training trades, where while they're in high school, they're taking their actual first level of technical training, either in the high school or at the local post-secondary training provider. And that's also, they're also getting credit for their high school diploma. And the other program is Work in Trades, which allows students in grades 10, 11, and 12 to actually go and work in the community with an employer as an apprentice, gaining apprenticeship hours while at the same time getting high school credit. And I can tell you that the students who take the biggest advantage of these programs are graduating grade 12. They'll have level 1 technical training already completed and up to 1,000 hours of apprenticeship under their belt. And then you take them on, you complete them through their apprenticeship. And in all of the employers that I've talked to who have done this, some of them concur that this is a strategic way to run their business, because they're taking students right in high school who have no bad habits in terms of the labor market. They're teaching them exactly what their business needs, put them through their apprenticeship. They have very high loyalty and very little turnover. So again, you can look on our youth website, on youth page on our website, and if you need any additional questions, there's an email link right there to our youth team, and they can get back to you and talk about who in your particular school district you can connect with to be successful. It's important to note that on the work in trades, it can be for any of the 100 trades. So, for example, if you're in roofing and you say, I want to go to my local school and find out if any students would be interested in joining me as a roofing apprentice, youth apprentice, you can do that even if there's no technical training in roofing being done in the area. You can still employ them as an apprentice. The website for that, or the address, is youth.itabc.ca. So there's a question from Kyle. What is being done to educate employers about the importance of Red Seal training? Do you foresee any mandatory Red Seal training to happen, and will carpenters ever be required to have a certification to work on job sites? So great question, Kyle. So this touches on Red Seal training. What Kyle is referring to is what is known as compulsory trades. So all other jurisdictions in Canada have compulsory trades, which means that in order to work in the trade, you either have to be a ticketed journey person, certified journey person, or you have to be a registered apprentice working in that trade. You can't just walk in from the street and be working in the trade, for example. The provincial government is going to be investigating compulsory trades in the coming year, and to see if there's an impact on British Columbia having compulsory trades again. We used to have it in the 1990s and early 2000s. So the provincial government is going to be doing a province-wide consultation on whether there are any safety benefits and improvements that can be had by re-implementing compulsory trades. So you're going to see something about that coming in the next year. So a question from Peter on where do we get additional, in addition to Indigenous communities, where can other remote communities get support for apprenticeship and trades training? The best place to start with that, Peter, is with your local apprenticeship advisor. And again, you can find them on our website and connect with them directly, and they can help guide you through the process of what it will take, what training is available, etc. The question came up from Marte about how the $73 million is distributed to the training system. It's basically split into 3 buckets. The $73 million actually is split into more of 2 buckets. So about 2/3 of that goes to apprenticeship training, and about 1/3 of it goes to pre-apprenticeship or foundation training. So I mentioned earlier the Youth Training Trades program of taking first level of technical training while still in high school. The adult version of that is called Foundation, and it's actually the same program. And in fact, many of the classes where Foundation is taught are mixed, some adults and some youth who are still students taking the program. And then in addition to that, we have approximately $8 million a year that we spend on our youth programs in the K-12 system around the province. Another question from Jack: how will ITA encourage those employers not hiring apprentices to do so? Great question, Jack. We've got lots of outreach going on with our industry engagement team and with our Apprenticeship Advisors, who are constantly speaking to employers to be potential sponsors in the regions around the provinces. When we visit various employers around the province and we give them certificates of recognition to talk about the importance and recognize them as being a champion of apprenticeship. And we're always looking for that common theme of what it is, the KoolAid recipe, if you will, so that we can feed that KoolAid to the other 4 of 5 employers who are not training apprentices. And the common themes we come up with is when you ask them, typically, either the owner of the business or someone on their senior leadership team has come through the apprenticeship system themselves. And when you ask them, why do you train apprentices, they look at you almost like you're stupid, and their response is, well, how else am I going to get my people trained? The other thing that they find out is that there's very much of a duty when you go through an apprenticeship, as I have myself, and you feel a responsibility. Once you get certified, you have a duty to pay back. Someone was kind enough to give you that opportunity and teach you that skill of becoming a journey person. And in that, you have a duty to give that back and train the next generation of skilled tradespeople to be able to get the same skill that you have. That's why the apprenticeship system has been so successful, and it has been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. If you want to see an example of this, you can go to championsofapprenticeship.ca, and there are some very inspirational stories from our apprenticeship champions to encourage others. And if you're out there and you're a champion of apprenticeship, again, thank you for the efforts that you do. And I would highly encourage you as well, when you're in your association meetings with your industry sectors, to also stand up and highly encourage others who are not employing apprentices to do so. Okay, so we're just scanning through the list here. That's the reason for the pause, to see if there are any others that we are going to answer right now. And a lot of them are really specific, so we're going to respond to those directly by email. So that will end the question period there. And would just like to say to everybody that as I mentioned, we'll be sending out a link of the recording of the webinar, and the PowerPoint presentation can be downloaded from the Handouts tab on your GoToMeeting panel. In the same email that we send, there will be a 2-question survey for you to give us feedback on or comments about this webinar. We'd really appreciate that, because we're very focused on continuous improvement and want to make sure that the next webinar we do is even better than this one. So thank you again for joining us today, and I hope you found the webinar informative. If you'd like more information on anything in our presentation, please visit our website and connect with us on our social media channels. Have a great day, everyone, and thanks again for joining us.